All right, today we're breaking down a huge issue, one that really affects millions of people and the economy of an entire nation, Pakistan's ongoing energy crisis.
So to really get our heads around this crisis, we have to start with a term that's just part of daily life for so many people there, load shedding. But what does that actually mean?
It's so much more than just a simple power cut. It's a clear symptom of a much bigger problem. There just isn't enough electricity to go around. So let's break down how we're going to explore this.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the core of the problem, this massive gap between how much power people need and how much is actually available. Then we're going to untangle the super complex reasons behind it, look at the heavy price the economy pays, explore some potential ways out, and wrap up with a really big question about the future.
Okay, so this entire crisis really just boils down to one fundamental imbalance.
And you can see it right here. On one side, you've got this booming demand. The population's growing, industry is expanding, agriculture is modernizing. But on the other side, the supply just can't keep up. That gap you see, that's the reason the lights go out. It's as simple as that.
So the power that is being generated, where does it come from? Well, a huge chunk of it comes from burning really expensive imported fossil fuels. And this heavy reliance is a critical piece of the puzzle because it really kicks off a perfect storm of other issues.
Yeah, this energy shortfall isn't because of one single thing going wrong. It's a really complex mix of interconnected problems that, honestly, have been building up for years and years.
We can basically break all these causes down into four main areas. First, not making enough power to begin with. Second, depending way too much on expensive foreign fuel. Third, issues with water-based power. And fourth, a delivery system that's pretty much failing.
Okay, first up, the power plants themselves. A lot of them are just underperforming. We're talking old machinery and a real lack of new investment, which means the whole system is running way below its actual potential.
Second, that heavy reliance on fossil fuels means importing them at a staggering cost. This just drains the country's precious foreign reserves and makes the entire system incredibly vulnerable to sudden price spikes on the global market.
So what about hydropower, or HEP? It sounds like a great alternative, right? And it is, but it's seasonal. In the winter, when the river flows drop, so does the power generation. And this happens right when demand for things like heating is often at its highest.
And finally, here's a huge one. Even the power that is generated often doesn't even make it to the consumer. A massive amount just gets lost through an old, aging grid. And on top of that, widespread electricity theft drains the system even more.
Okay, so now that we're digging into the causes, if you're finding this breakdown helpful, please just take a quick moment to subscribe to Spotwork Learning and give us a like. It really helps us create more explainers just like this one.
So what is the actual real-world impact of all this? Well, the economic consequences are just massive, and they ripple through every single part of the nation.
Just look at this table. No sector gets away clean. Industries have to shut down production, which leads to huge financial losses and, frankly, a damaged reputation internationally. Agriculture suffers because the electric pumps needed for irrigation, called tube wells, can't run. Trade gets crippled, and ultimately, who bears the cost? The general public, through things like higher taxes and inflation.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. The point is, this isn't just about being inconvenient. It creates a vicious cycle. It actually scares off the very investment from both inside and outside the country that's needed to fix the problem in the first place.
So is there a way out of this? Let's take a look at some of the potential solutions for tackling such a deep-rooted crisis.
It seems like a three-pronged approach is what's needed. First, a major shift away from fossil fuels and towards Pakistan's huge renewable potential. Second, upgrading that aging infrastructure to actually deliver power efficiently. And third, enforcing strong policies to stop all the waste and theft. Now, what's really incredible is the sheer scale of the opportunity here. Get this, just one area, the Thada-Badan wind corridor, has the potential to generate 50,000 megawatts of clean energy. To put that in perspective, that's more than the entire country's current peak demand. And Pakistan has enormous potential in both solar and wind. And yeah, the upfront costs to build this stuff are high, for sure. But the long-term benefits of having a clean, cheap, and domestic energy supply, that's an absolute game changer.
This all brings us to our final and probably our most important point, connecting this whole crisis to the nation's path forward. If you take away one thing from this, it should be this. Solving the energy crisis isn't just about keeping the lights on.
It's really about unlocking an entire country's potential.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. A reliable energy supply is the absolute bedrock of any modern economy. Without it, how can any nation truly build a prosperous and sustainable future for its people?